Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Okay.
I'll read the Sanskrit part. After that, you can continue. From
Sure.
the
Okay.
Karmani Kati Vidhani Santi Chet Agami Sanchitta Prarabdha Vedena Vidhani Santi. Okay, now you can read the author.
Okay. Okay. The author says that if it is asked, i.e., if such a question is raised, iti chet karmani kati vidani santi, how many types of karmas are there? Here, meaning of the word karma is the adrishta punya papa phalam, which we have seen earlier. He continues, Trividihani Santi. There are three types of karmas, and they are Agami, Sanchita, Prarabdha, Bedidena, Agami karma, i.e. Agami punya, papam. Sanchita karma means Sanchita punya papam, and Prarabdha karma means Prarabdha punya papam.
Okay.
Do you want?
Yeah, I will read.
And then I'll read the English if you want.
Yeah. Jnanotpatyanantaram Jnanidehagratam Punyapaparupam Karmam Yadasti Tadagamitya Adibediyate. Tadagamitya Adibediyate. Now you can.
Okay, that's a big word. The author first gives the definition of agami. This definition will vary depending upon whether a person is a jnani or an ajnani. In the case of an ajnani, the agami karma is the punya papam acquired from birth in his life. So birth is the starting point. By birth, we mean whenever this person is capable of thinking independently. Since punya papam get attached on the basis of the motive of action, the actions of the babies done without any motive do not result in any punya papam. So that point, whenever we start our deliberate and motivated action, agami starts. But in the case of a jnani, there is a slight difference. Jnani agami starts from the time he gains the jnanam. For him, the time of jnanam is the starting point for agami karma. So from the time of jnanam, i.e. after gaining knowledge, whatever karma he does is called agami karma. And up to the time of jnanam, whatever karmas he has done will get added to his sanchita karma. So in this case of jnani, the cut-off time is gaining the jnanam. In the case of ajnani, the cut-off time is the birth. This is what the author explains. Jnanatpati anantaram, after jnana utpati, gaining jnanam, i.e. punya paparupam karma, all the good and bad actions, jnani deha kratam, done by the body of a jnani. We have to carefully note that the author uses the word deha, i.e. the body of a jnani. He doesn't say actions done by a jnani. The author was to imply that the jnani does not look upon his body as self. Yadasti, whatever karma is there. Tat agami iti abhidityate, that is called agami karma. This is the definition of a jnani agami karma. What happens to a jnani agami will be explained later. The next question is, so are they just saying that the body is just what houses the... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Agami karma, Sanchita karma, and Prarabdha karma. Of that, Agami has been explained now. Agami karma for a normal person is uh, the karma he has done since he has got the will and motive to do since birth, that will be agami karma. And for a jnani, it will be after jnana. That is, after gaining jnana, the agami karma starts. Before that, all the karma gets added to sanchita. So after he gains jnana, whatever he does is called agami karma for a jnani. For normal people like us, it will be um, since birth. I mean, the karmas as we do as a baby is not counted as agami because there is no motive or will involved in the case of when we are a baby. I will read the Sanskrit part. Sanjitam karmam kil anantakoti janmanam bijabhudam yatkarma jatam purvarjidam sanjita sanjitam gneyam. Okay, now you can.
Okay. The author answers Yat Karmata Jatam Purva Jitam Tishtati. Whatever punya papa is accumulated in all the past janmas, both immediate past and remote past. Bija Bhutam Sat is a seed for Anantakoti Yanam. Ya Janmanam, sorry. Anantakoti Janmanam. The countless crores for of future janmas, yet titsati tat sanchita karma. All the past bundle is called sanchita karma. So as said earlier, even a jnani has past janmas. So whatever punya papa he has accumulated in the past janmas, and not only in the past janmas, but in this janma, also up to the attainment of jnanam, will constitute his sanchita karma. This we cannot say in the case of an ajnani. This cutoff is only for a jnani, since at the time of his jnana praptihi, his agami karma will stop. Next, the author defines prarabdham.
Okay, we can discuss it. So, Sanchita karma is nothing but for a normal person, it would be all the karmas we have done in our past lives, countless past lives. And the time of our present life, in the present life, from the time of birth, whatever we do will be agami karma. And before uh, the karmas of all past lives is Sanjita Karma. But for a Jnani, since we count only the karmas his body does after Jnana only is counted as Agami Karma. Everything, including the karmas of past lives and the karmas he had done before gaining Jnana, gets added to Sanjita Karma. That's
Okay,
it. Now I
sure.
प्रारब्धं कर्म किमिति चेत् इदं शरीर इदं शरीरम् उत्पाद्य इह लोके एव सुखदुःखादिप्रदं यत्कर्म तत् प्रारब्धं भोगेन नष्टं भवति प्रारब्धकर्मणां भोगदेव क्षय इति भोगादेव क्षय इति. Okay, I'll read now.
Sure.
Prarabdha, as we have seen earlier, is that part of Sanchita Karma which has fructified and which has given rise to the body and its experiences. So he says, Idam Shariram Utpadya, that which produces this body, that Punya Papa, which decides one's date of birth, including the placement of planets in the horoscope. There are there is a general misconception amongst many that all these are determined by God. That is not true. The date birth, the type of body, the family in which one is born, all are determined by Punya Papa of the past. That too in this world and in the place where we are born. Yet Sukadukkadik Pradam, that which is both pleasurable and painful experiences. Without working for it in this world, we, we must remember that whatever work we do for pleasure is in this work will come under agami. Obviously, no one will work for pain, but if some pleasure or pain come to us without our planning, whatever comes unasked, prarabdha phalam yat karma, prarabdha. This is called karma. So this is the definition of prarabdha karma. It is the same in the case of jnani and ajnani alike. In case of Agami and Sanjitam, the definition is different in the case of Jnani and Ajnani. But in case of Prarabdha, it is the same. In case of Prarabdha is that part of karma, that part of Sanchita karma uh, that is responsible for our present experience, like whether pleasurable or painful experiences. So, whatever karma we are experiencing currently, the results of whatever karma we are experiencing currently is called prarabdha. Whether it is for jnani or ajnani, it is the same. Should we discuss anything? Should we have any?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Regarding prarabdha karma?
Oh, prarabdha, is that just whatever is just destined? I mean, not like whatever is written for you. Like it said that your time of birth, where you end up, which family you're
Yeah.
born in. Those are the
Whatever we are currently experiencing is, yeah, whatever the karma, whatever results we are experiencing currently is called prarabdha,
okay.
whether painful or pleasure or neutral.
Yeah, I liked
You can
recently Swami Viditatmanandaji came to visit Peoria where we live, and he said something very interesting. He said, all life is figuring out whether how we handle everything. It's your attitude toward things. Some things are already written. You have everything's there. We, whatever happens to us, but the free will comes from the way our attitude towards things or how we deal with them. It doesn't mean it's the bad, the good is not going to happen. It's still going to happen. It's just how we choose to view it. So that was very good.
yeah.
Okay.
Law of karma for jnanis. Having defined the three types of karma. Yeah. So were you saying something?
Your voice is muffling in and out. I'm not able to hear all of what you're saying.
Okay.
Maybe
Law of, I don't know, maybe network. Okay, let me start again.
that would be great. I'm
Law
reading.
of karma. Yeah. Law of karma for jnanis. Having defined the three types of karma, the author now wants to explain as to what happens to the three karmas of jnanis. First, he takes up prarabdha and says, Bhogena nashtam bhavati. It is exhausted only by experiencing the karma phala or fruits, bitter or sweet. Prarabdham will have to be exhausted both by jnani and ajnani alike. The jnani's body is also under influence of prarabdha. He may have long life or a short life, a healthy body or a sick body. It all is determined by prarabdha at the time of his birth. So he cannot escape its effect. That is the law of karma. But the advantage of jnani is he does not identify with his body. He has understood that he is the Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharira Vyatirikta. He is different from Shariratraya. Just as a dress has got it, a dress has got its own life period, he looks upon his body also as an external object which has to go through its karma. Therefore, he doesn't react to prarabdha and anubhava. The author emphasizes prarabdha karmanam bhogadeva nakshaya. The prarabdha karmas will get exhausted only by experiencing the consequences. With regard to sanchita karma, he says, sanchitam karma brahmaivahamidi nishthamaka jnanena nashyati. He says that nishthamaka jnanena, by the gaining of knowledge with total conviction, brahmaiva aham iti, that I am Brahman, sanchitta karma nashyati. All the sanchita karmas are destroyed. One great benefit of knowledge is that it is so powerful, just as the radiation has a power to destroy cancerous cells. Atma can destroy all the sanchita karma. But for a jnani, the prarabdham is exhausted and sanchita is destroyed. So basically, what in this what is being said is that prarabdha karma is the karma we are the result of the karmas we are experiencing in current life. So whatever results we are experiencing in the current life, we have to that is prarabdha, and prarabdha has to be exhausted by experiencing it. So whether it is a jnani or a jnani, he has to um, live uh, live whatever live according to the prarabdha, whatever he has to experience it. Whether he's a jnani or a jnani, there is no difference. Sanchita karma, that is the karmas of past lives, all get the accumulated karmas of all the past lives get destroyed on gaining of jnana. So prarabdham, both jnani and ajnani have to exhaust by experiencing. Sanchitam gets destroyed on for a jnani. For a ajnani, he has to again experience the sanchita karma later in the coming lives.
Yes, and I think the jnani knows this is just a coat that they're wearing. This isn't it's just what they have to go through, this coat of life that we're in.
Yeah, so yeah, they are in a better position to accept the whatever comes in as prarabdha in life. They are they are totally accepting of that. So it is not a problem as it is for us. Okay, I'll continue. Agami karma abhijnanena nashyati. Kincha agami karmanam nalinidala nalinidala gad nalinidala gata jalavat jnaninam sambandho nasti. Agami karma abhijnanena nashyati. This knowledge destroys agami karma also. Here we have to understand the import of the word nashyati. There is no actual destruction of agami karma because of jnani. For a jnani, agami karma does not arise at all. According to the law of karma, the motivation for any action arises as a result of the ego ahankara. It means dehabhimana, identification with the body. It is this motivation which leads to karmas. It is the ego which is the cause of punya and papa. A jnani does not have an ego when performing karma. He has no ahankara. The world may praise him, he doesn't bother about it. The world may criticize him, he doesn't bother. Because he does not have Dehabhiman. Agami karmanam jnaninam sambandho nasti. The agami karmas have no relationship with the jnani. A jnani does not have identification with the karmas done after gaining jnana. The author provides a beautiful and apt comparison. He says that this question is like Nalini Dalagata Jalavat. Nalini Dala means lotus leaf. We will find that even though the drop sits on the leaf, it does not get attached to the leaf, and the leaf does not get wet by the water. Similarly, while we see the actions coming from Jnani, those actions Nasti do not have any sambandha or relationship with him because he does not identify with the body. And now the author goes on to make a very interesting observation. Inter yena jnaninam vandi bhajanti archayanti anprati jnanikritam agami punyam gacchati. Ye jnaninam nindati vishanti pradhanam kurvanti तान् प्रति ज्ञानीकृतं सर्वागामि क्रियमाणं यद् वाच्यं कर्म पापात्मकं तद् गच्छति सुहृदः पुण्यकृतं सुहृदः पुण्यकृतं कृत्यं दुर्हृदः पापकृत्यं गृह्णन्ति.
Shall I read now?
Author says that jnani does. Yeah, please.
Okay. The author says the jnani does not have an ego. In whatever way we treat them, they are not going to reciprocate positively or negatively. One has to be, therefore, very careful while relating to a jnani. If a person ill treats a jnani, the jnani is not going to retaliate or to take revenge or curse because he doesn't have an abhimana or a feeling of insult. But the author warns, if one mistreats a jnani, all the papa karmas of the jnani, which he has done knowingly or unknowingly, will get transferred to that person. Of course, we should not take this as a literal transfer. What the author wants to point out is that if we will ill-treat a jnani, it will be a papa karma for us. On the other hand, if we are going to revere and respect a jnani, he is not going to feel elated or give us some reward because he is also indifferent to our reverence and respect. But Bhagavatam, but Bhagwan will reward us by transferring some of his punyam to us. So the idea behind this warning is that the worship of a jnani is punya karma, and the insult of a jnani is papa karma. He says, Ye jnanina me stutvanti bhajanti akranyanti archayanti. Those who worship, sing his glories, and does puja of jnanis, tanpati, to them, jnani kritam agami punyam gacchati. The punyam earned by the jnani will accrue or get transferred. We have already discussed earlier that there is no question of accruing the agami punyam or agami papam for a jnani. So the correct interpretation of this sentence is not that one will get punyam if he reveres a jnani. On the other hand, ye jnanina me nidanti, he who criticizes the jnanis, dvasvanti, hates them, dukkha pradhanam kurvanti, injures or hurts them, tanprati, to them, Jnani kritam sarvam agami kriyamanam yad davachanam karma papa mak- makam tad gachati. All the agami papam will accrue or get transferred. Here also we have to remember that a jnani does not have a agami papam. The idea is that we will get papam if we insult or hurt a jnani. So these two sentences should not be taken literally. These types of sentences should not be taken literally, but only their implied meaning should be understood. They are called Tattvabodha Vakya. The above idea or thought is re-emphasized in the end to highlight its importance. Shruddha, Shruddhaha Punya Kritam Durhridaha Papa Kritam Grihnanti. Those who worship and revere a jnani, who can be called a Shudraha, will acquire punyam, and those who hurt or ill-treat a jnani, who,
Uh,
who can be
it is
called,
not Shudra, it is Suhradaha.
oh,
It
Suhar,
is Suhradaha, not Shudra.
okay, Suhardaha,
Suhradaha.
Shuddha, okay, will acquire punyam, and those who hurt or ill-treat a jnani, who can be called a Durdaha, Durhadra, Durda, will acquire papam. How do you say that one?
Suhradaha.
Durhadra,
Suhradaha.
Durdraha.
Suhradaha.
These words are going to be hard. Durhadraha, Urdaha, Durhadraha. Okay, we'll acquire papam. That was very interesting. So, it's interesting to see that the jnani doesn't react either way, from the negative or the positive, but the papa and punyam get accumulated somehow. That, it's being counted in your reaction, or in one's reaction, to whether it with reverence or dislike or whatever.
Yeah.
It
We
reminded me
can
of
move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying it reminded me of what in this beginning journey of going to listen to various discourses or talks, or when Swamiji's visit here, or respected spiritual folks come here. When going to some of the talks in the beginning, it would be like for entertainment value, whether the person was saying things that I would understand, or whether the person didn't relate to it. It was all ego-based, in the way I interpreted it. And in this sense, now going, fast forward, you realize I just go to most things that are by Arsha Vidya or Chinmaya Mission or whatever Swamis are here. And now it's more that I bow to the knowledge that they're imparting to any of us, or I see it a very different way, not as an entertainment value, but as to what they're saying, or try to understand what they're saying. So it's different. It's good. Okay.
We will go there to understand.
Yeah. Shall I continue to read?
Yeah.
Okay. Important aspects of law of karma. In the last chapter, we were in the midst of a discussion on topic of benefits of self-knowledge, and in that context, we are now discussing the law of karma. Before we proceed to the concluding sentences in the Tattvabodha text, we need to discuss a few important aspects of this law. The law of karma is unique to the Vedic teaching. It is very significant with a lot of practical corollaries. If we understand the law of karma and all the corollaries, then this understanding will give us a lot of mental relaxation. The first corollary that we derive is that every experience that we undergo in our life is either because of our prarabdha karma or the agami karma. That is our own action done in the previous birth or those actions done in the immediate past in the current birth. This prarabdha and agami alone give us every pleasurable and painful experience. We can, therefore, never blame any third factor for our experiences. We cannot blame other human beings. We cannot blame the world, and we cannot even blame the poor God, because the rule is yaha karta bhavati saha eva karma phala bhukta bhavati. Whoever is the karta, the doer, that person alone becomes the present bhukta, reaper of the results. And therefore, if at all one has to blame someone, if at all the bhaktas have to blame someone, then he can blame only one person, and that is the past karta. The past karta is none other than the person's own self, who is the present bhokta. So the past me is responsible for the present me. We ourselves are responsible for our present. Thus, the first corollary of this law of karma is that we stop blaming others in the world for our experiences. The second important corollary of the law of karma is that if the past I is responsible for the present I, by the same token, i.e., by extending this logic, we can say the present I is responsible for the future I. The past cannot be corrected. There is no use of grieving over spilt milk. It is our foolishness in the past, no purpose will be served by talking about it. But we can concentrate on the present, and by doing so, we can very much influence, control, direct, and manage our future. So the law of karma says, most emphatically, take responsibility for your future. Don't take to a fatalistic philosophy, saying that everything is in the hands of some unknown destiny, some unknown fate. Don't take refuge in some fatalism and wash off your own responsibility. You and you alone are responsible for your future. Therefore, the law of karma is the only remedy for fatalism. Many people think law of karma is fatalism. On the contrary, the law of karma is the only remedy for the wrong philosophy of fatalism. Fatalism is a wrong philosophy because it makes us wash away our responsibility. Look, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna in the 6th chapter of the Gita, Uda Hradadamana Tamanam. Arjuna, okay. Arjuna, do not expect the.
You can continue.
Okay. You want to continue or no? Okay. Do not expect
No,
me
you
to.
continue.
Okay. Do not expect me to uplift you. I will never do that. I will encourage you, but you and you alone will have to uplift you. In a children's race, the parents can cheer their children like the cheerleaders, enthuse them, etc. But the running has to be done by the children only. Similarly, Bhagwan can only cheer you, motivate us, boost our confidence, and support our efforts. But we have to take charge of our life, and that too, right from this moment onwards. This is the second important corollary. The third corollary is also important. At any given time, a person is experiencing either prarabdha phalam or agami phalam. We can call them the actions of the remote karta and the current karta. Both are the same person only. The remote karta has produced prarabdham and the current karta has produced agami. Now, when these experiences come, our human tendency always is to correlate or connect the karta and the experiences. When we try to correlate, when we try to thus correlate the agami phalam and its equation to the current karta, they will match. We will say that he is a good person and therefore he has good experiences. so and so is a bad person, and so he has bad experiences. Thus, experiences and the person can be correlated when it is a case of agami phalam. But we also come across numerous instances where a person whom we consider as a good undergoes miserable experiences, and the person whom we consider bad has very pleasurable experiences. We get confused and take the easy way out of blaming God for all these injustices. For example, in Mahabharata, itself, we see the Pandavas who followed Dharma suffering all along, and even spending 13 long years of their life in the forest. And we see Duryodhana, who is Adharma incarnate, enjoying all pleasures as a king. What we fail to realize that we are trying to erroneously work out an equation between the Prarabdha Phalam experiences and the current Karta. We need to bear in mind that Prarabdha is not associated with the current Karta, but Prarabdha is the result of the action of the remote Karta, Purva Jnanam Karta, whom we don't see at all. Therefore, when we correlate the Prarabdha Anubhava and the current Karta, they will not match. That is why when we see very good people suffering, we are disturbed because we think that good people should enjoy and bad people should suffer. This is the equation that our intellect can easily assimilate. But when we see a noble person suffering in life and a corrupt person having all prosperity, we are disturbed and we get angry with the world. We are unable to accept such a situation. We get angry with the world and we get angry with God, accusing him of being grossly unjust. Seldom do we realize that the problem is neither with the world, nor with the God, nor with justice. The problem lies with our wrong equation. We are trying to equate the Prarabdha Phalam and the current Karta, which will never work. Therefore, the third corollary is never make the wrong equation between Karma Phalam and Karta. The fourth corollary is an interesting one. We have seen that our experiences are in the form of both Agami and Prarabdha. The Prarabdha Karma, the Prarabdha Punya, Papam, is not generally known to us. That is why it is called Adrashtam, that which cannot be seen. We have learned this earlier, so fortunately or unfortunately, we don't know what our Prarabdha is until it fructifies. When we get a sukha experience, we infer that we had a good prarabdham. And if it is a painful experience, we infer that we had a bad prarabdham. However, before fructification, normally we have no way of knowing what prarabdha is waiting for us tomorrow. And since this is unknown, we are unable to deal with prarabdha also. We struggle to deal with even the known issues. What to talk of unknown issues. But the Shastras say that there are different methods by which we can have access to our prarabdha and know it. However, it is preferable not to know it because even without that, it is too much an effort for us to handle the unknown world, to handle the known world. One can imagine what would happen if we start handling the unknown also. So, Shastras point out that we should better thank Bhagwan for covering our vision from Prarabdha. Yet, as per the Shastras, one method to know the Prarabdha is one's horoscope or Jatakam, the horoscope of a person, which indicates the planet position, is supposed to be an indicator or a clue of one's prarabdha. The various positions of the planets and constellations at the time of one's birth, as stated in the horoscope, are supposed to indicate one's prarabdha, based on which one can know if the experiences will be pleasurable or painful. We need to understand this point very carefully. The planets do not cause pleasure and pain. The planets can never influence our life or give us pleasure and pain. The planets are not the cause of suffering. The planetary position is only the indicator of the prarabdha and is the prarabdha alone which is the cause of suffering. This is similar to the clock indicating the time of sunrise and sunset. Is the clock the indicator of sunrise and sunset, or is the clock the cause of sunrise and sunset? There is a vast difference between the indicator and the cause. In Sanskrit, they are called lakshakam, jnanpakam, karakam, jnanpakam. Karakam means cause and jnanapakam means indicator. So a clock does not cause sunrise. If the clock were to cause the sunrise, what will happen? If the clock stops, there will be no sunrise. So like the clock is only an indicator, the planetary positions are also the indicators of one's prarabdha, but both punyam and papam. Now suppose we are able to know the prarabdha based on the horoscope or any other method. The Shastras say there is a method of handling that. We know that our future experiences are only dependent on our prarabdha, but also they are dependent on our agami, which is continuously generating. So if we create such agami, which is capable of countering and neutralizing the prarabdha, that karma is called pariyashchita karma or parishchita karma or parihara karma. That is the production of an appropriate agami to counter or handle the effects of the arriving prarabdha. This is similar to carrying an umbrella while going out in the hot sun. We cannot change the heat of the sun, and we cannot avoid going out also. So we take agami umbrella to counter the effect of the sun's heat. So the prarabdha, which is the sun's heat, can be remedied at least partially. But the agami, which is the umbrella, so taking the umbrella is the prashchita karma. The next question will be, can prayashchita karma cure or remedy all the prarabdha karmas? Do we have prayashchitam or prayashchita agami for all types of prarabdhas? Everyone will be eager to know the answer, because then we can get total protection from the effects of prarabdha karmas. The answer to this question lies in another question, and that is, do we have medicines for all diseases, or do medicines cure diseases? What will be the answer? If we are intelligent, we will never answer. We will say that it will depend on the type of disease. We will not have a blanket yes or no answer. For certain diseases, the medicine are sufficiently advanced and they can completely cure such diseases. Once upon a time, cholera was fatal, typhoid was fatal, and tuberculosis was fatal. Now we can cure all such bacteria-borne diseases. We have got antibiotics, which is a great blessing. So in certain diseases, medicine can cure the disease. In certain other diseases, medicines do not cure, but they give us the capacity to manage the disease, thus saving us from death. Suppose a person suffers from diabetes. The doctor advises him to take care of his diet, cut off sugar, go for regular walks, and take the medicine prescribed by him. This medicine may not cure the diabetes, but the person is not likely to succumb to the disease, at least in the near future. Thus, medicines help us to manage in certain cases, though they cannot cure. Then there are certain diseases which the medicines cannot cure at all. The doctor will pronounce them as a terminal case. There are hospitals and institutions where terminal patients are managed. These patients are also given medicines, but these are not meant for curing. They are only meant for alleviating the suffering or pain. Thus, medicine can cure some diseases, medicines can help manage some diseases, and in the case of some diseases, even though the medicines cannot cure them, they can alleviate the pain or suffering. The Shastras say that the Prayashchitta karmas also act as either a cure or as a management or as alleviation. In the weaker prarabdha, it can cure. In an intermediary prarabdha, it will help us to manage. In a powerful prarabdha, it will alleviate the pain or suffering. This is also a corollary of the law of karma. Also, sometimes the prayashchitta is general and we call it a prayer. When it is specific, we call it parihara. So parihara and the prayer are one and the same. Prayer or pratana, prayer or pratana is samanyam, or general, whereas prayashchitta or parihara is specific and well-directed. So therefore, the fourth corollary of the law of karma is the availability of prayashchitta. Then the fifth and the final corollary of the law of karma is that in any particular janma or birth, we can never exhaust all the karmas. We may exhaust the prarabdha, or we may remedy or neutralize some prarabdha. At best, all the prarabdha and the part of agami also may be exhausted, but certainly another part of agami, the full baggage of sanchita can never be exhausted in one janma. The law of karma, therefore, says that punar janma or rebirth is a compulsory necessity. Thus, the fifth and the final corollary of the law of karma is punar janma or rebirth. This is accepted by some other religions and some others rejected. But in the Vedic teaching, the cycle of births and rebirths is the natural corollary of the law of karma. Even in the case of an animal, it will exhaust all the prarabdha by going through the pleasure and pain. A dog, if it has got a lot of punyam, will become the dog of a cinema actress, all the time having cozy life. It will have an air-conditioned room, imported biscuits. Many people in that city may not have food, but the dog will have imported biscuits. In short, it will have all luxuries, including a Mercedes-Benz car ride, while ordinary people struck by their prarabdha will be going in the miserable local transport bus. And from the windows of the bus, they will see the dog's face, looking out the window of the car with its tongue out as though it was mocking them. Many people may sometimes wonder that the janma of the dog was better than their own janma. So this is the manifestation of punyam. We can also see cases of some other dogs, which we will call street dogs, being attacked by all the urchins, etc. It has to scavenge for food and sleep in filthy surroundings, all this because of the manifestation of papam. Thus, even a dog exhausts all prarabdham through varieties of experiences. But fortunately, a dog does not have agami karma, because the dog does not have an ego to do a deliberate and a planned action. And that is why the dog violates the traffic signal. So policemen impose the fine because it doesn't have a will or a katatvam or bhoktatvam. So a dog avoids agami like a jnani. The dog is like a jnani. It exhausts prarabdham. It avoids agami. But we should not be tempted to believe that all this means that the dog is liberated. The problem is that a dog cannot gain jnanam. Otherwise, it will be a student. It will be a student of Vedanta. Otherwise, it will be a student of Vedanta attending some class or reading this text on Tattvabodha. And because it cannot gain jnanam, it cannot burn the sanchita karmas, which only a jnani can do. So for a dog also, sanchita karmas will be there, which cannot be destroyed. So animals will have to be reborn. Therefore, a punarapi jnanam, punarapi maranam cycle is the fifth corollary. This is how the process works. At the time of death, the prarabdha is exhausted. In fact, it is on exhaustion of the prarabdha that death occurs. At the time of death, a part of agami is also experienced and exhausted, but the remaining part of agami is still unexperienced. This unexperienced part of agami will join the sanchita karma. When prarabdha, oh, okay, that was a lot to digest. I like the analogy of the dog.
Yeah.
I guess look at it in different ways and how things occur in life.
Yeah.
Very nicely explained about with the disease and the doctor, that there's just not, some things have like a prayer, the Shastras have a prayer, there's some things that can only be neutralized or alleviated, the pain can be alleviated but not cured. So that was a nice analogy too with medicines and the Shastras.
Yeah. Ultimately, jnana is the only permanent cure.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Right. Om Purnamad Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om.
Thank you very much.
Next one will be our last.
Okay, great. We'll see you. I'll see you at the next class.